Welcome back. So now let's move on to 10x circuits. So 10x circuits are the building blocks of our 10x routines, and our 10x routines are the building blocks of our programs. And then once you've selected your program, then we will look at strategies for continuously improving on your program. So let's get started. So what are 10x circuits? Now remember, we did talk about circuit training in the 10x strategies video, where one of the strategies of 10x is circuit training. Now, what is circuit training? So for those who don't remember, circuit training is where you select a certain number of exercises, unique exercises, usually total body. And when you do one exercise for a certain period of time, and then you move on to the next exercise all the way through all the exercises in a row as quickly as you possibly can, which is represented as a single cycle, and then you may repeat that. Now, a circuit is just one cycle of a set of unique resistance exercises. The 10x circuit only has 3 exercises as a single dose of exercise. Okay. So when I say a person needs at least 2 doses of resistance exercise training per week, I literally mean 2 exercises per muscle group, lower body, and then upper body in the front, upper body at the back. 2 is minimum for those, so it's 2 doses. So 10x circuit is the equivalent of a single dose of a total or a whole body exercise stimulus. Okay, so what makes the 10x circuit really unique is that we've selected the fewest number of exercises, only 3, that can basically target and cover, let's say, 90% of the body's musculature in a single cycle or circuit, which we then repeat twice maximum, which makes up our 10x routine. So a 10x routine is essentially 2 doses or 2 circuits of a lower body exercise, a posterior upper body exercise, and a anterior upper body exercise. Okay, meaning that you're doing legs, and then you're doing back, and then you're doing chest and shoulders. Okay, very simple. And even if we're doing beta exercises or we're doing gamma exercises, doesn't matter. We're always starting with the lower body, then we move on to the upper body for the back, and then the upper body for the chest. From the hardest, most important exercise to the least hard and least important exercise, but all of them are really essential. Okay, so there are 3 types of circuits. 3x alpha are the building blocks of our 6x alpha routines. 3x beta and 3x gamma routines are optional. They are not mandatory. You basically select them as supplementary exercises for your unique specific needs. Okay, so you get what we call alpha 1 and alpha 2. Alpha 1 always is more important than 2. 2 is always more important than 3. Okay, so if you see alpha 1 and you have the option between alpha 1 and alpha 2, if you haven't done alpha 1, you always start with 1 because it's the most important. But eventually, alpha 2, as you'll see in a moment, it's essentially the identical routine, but different exercises targeting the same muscle groups. Let me show you what I mean. So 3x alpha 1 is the squat, the pull, and the push. And then alpha 2 is the hinge, the row, and the press. But notice this. The first exercise is a lower body exercise. That's always the case. And it's the squat. The second exercise is an upper body exercise, which is the posterior of the body, the back of the body, which works the back and the biceps. So that's a pulling exercise. And then another upper body exercise, which is anterior exercise, so the chest and shoulders and triceps. That's a pushing movement. Now, alpha 1 is more important than alpha 2 because the squat, the pull, and the push are, for me, the movements that basically cover or mimic those foundational functional movement patterns that we talked about in the exercise strategies video. That's why it's more important than alpha 2. A hinge, row, and a press. So a hinge is like a deadlift, picking something up from the floor. A row is also a pull, but you're doing it horizontally. A press is also a push, but you're doing it vertically. So let me repeat that. A squat, you're just pushing you're pushing your body away from yourself, right? Extending your legs either in a vertical position like a wall ball or in a horizontal position in a leg press squat or leg press. Okay, and then you have a pull that is vertical, you have a pull that is horizontal, you have a push that is horizontal, and then you have a press that is vertical. So again, you could even change this up, right? So for instance, you could do a squat, and then you could do a row, and you can do a push. It doesn't matter because they're going to target the exact same muscle groups. Please remember that, right? So these are different exercises, but they target the exact same muscle groups. And remember, our focus is targeted muscle failure, not targeted, the best, most fancy exercise, workout. Our focus is targeted muscle failure. So these exercises target the same muscle groups, okay? The back, the push is chest and shoulders. This is chest and shoulders. Hinge is the hamstrings. And again, there's some emphasis. They do emphasize some muscle groups in a slightly different way, hence why they exist, right? Otherwise, I wouldn't even put them in here. So you get an idea. Let me give an example of the 3x alpha circuit. Now remember, you're not doing a 3x alpha. You'll never do a 3x alpha circuit. It's just showing you the building blocks. But you'll do a 6x alpha circuit, which is these exact exercises done for 2 rounds. Okay, so you do leg press, then you quickly move to a lat pull down, and then you move on to chest press. Okay, so I'm going to show you machines, then I'm going to show you body weight, and I'm going to show you free weight. So here we have, again, the same thing, right? So notice we've got the leg press, focusing on the legs. We have a lat pull down, focusing on the back muscles. Remember, we're pulling in a vertical plane, and then we're pushing in a horizontal plane, working the chest. So the next slide is exactly the same thing, but now it's body weight. So body weight squat, legs, a pull up the back, chest for push up. Here's free weight, so same thing. We just add some dumbbells to the squat. We do a weighted pull up, and then we do a bench press with dumbbells. Exactly the same thing. So this is still 3x alpha 1, once done at the gym or machines, body weight, and then free weight. Again, you won't necessarily select these exercises exactly like this. You could have a mix. And so when we build your program, you'll see how I do that. All right, so now we have 3x alpha 2, right? So it's still lower body, upper body, upper body. So it's still the legs, it's still the back, and it's still the chest and shoulders. But now we've got like a deadlift movement with a machine. We have the rowing exercise, cable. These are my favorites. And all the images you see here, these are actually the exercises and the apparatus that I prefer doing. So like for my row, I really like the cable row instead of the row machine. So they're both machines, but one is a cable, one is, let's say, a weight stack pulley machine. And then here you have your shoulder press. Okay, this is now body weight for the same thing. So you would do a hinge with a resistance band, then you would do a row on the rings. Then again, even though, so you can see it's horizontal, so you're basically pushing this way, just like you would do a row. So you see that? So like row on the cable and a row on the rings, same movement pattern. And then here you have the pike push-up, which will target the shoulders, just like that machine targets your shoulders. This pike push-up targets the shoulders. Then we have 3x alpha 2. We have your weighted hinge, one of my favorites, and then we have the weighted row, and then we have a weighted overhead press with dumbbells. So again, it's alpha 2, just machine, body weight, and then free weight. Okay, now let's quickly go through the beta circuits, right? So now we took those beta exercises, and now the same thing. We've got a lower body exercise, upper body, upper body. That's beta number 1. Then we have 3x beta number 2. We have a lower body and then upper body and upper body. So we have the calf raise, then the back extension, and then the leg raise, which is abdominals. And then on another day, you could do hip thrust, which targets the glutes. Then you do tricep and bicep. But again, you could change this. You could basically have the hip thrust and replace it with the calf raise. Although, trust me, I've designed these very carefully. Like if you did the hip thrust in conjunction with back extension, your lower back will be on fire. And so I don't always recommend it. So every exercise I selected and the order in which I've placed them have been experimented with for 4 years. Okay, we have tested and experimented with all of these different exercises and their order and their frequency over a 4-year period. So keep that in mind, that there's method in the potentially perceived madness that you see here. Okay, now we show you what they look like. So let's go 3x beta. We'll do machine or gym, home, and then body weight. So here you've got your calf press machine. Then we have the what's usually called the lumbar extension machine, where you've got the padding here, and so you're pushing back all the way to full extension, which will give you a very controlled and supported stimulus for the lower back. I really like that machine. And then here you could have the leg raise. So remember, this is now a circuit. So you're doing your calves, then you're doing lower back, and then you're doing the abdominals. Now remember, your leg raise works the bottom half of the abdominals, whereas the thoracic gamma routine will work the top half. All right, so here we have the body weight version. So calf raise, I usually find that body weight is not enough, but it's not bad to start off with, and then you can add a dumbbell like you'll see there. Then you have my favorite back extension machine, which is a GHD, because you can do at least 3 exercises on this thing that I really like doing. And then we have the hanging leg raise, so body weight. Again, the limiting factor usually is your grip in your arms, and so I would usually give a different variation for this if you're a beginner. And then here we have the free weight version. Again, this guy's actually holding a weighted plate. And then we have, again, the fully leg extended leg raise, which makes it a lot harder. Okay. Now we have 3x beta 2. Again, so it's going to be secondary to 3x beta 1. Okay. But you could do them both. And sometimes you could do them, and you'll see you could actually, and what a 6x beta routine is calf, back, leg raise, glute, tricep, bicep, in that order. So 6 exercise. That makes your 6x beta 1 routine. Again, we're going to get to that. Just remember, I'm just showing you the building blocks of routines, which is a circuit, or what I call a single dose of resistance exercise. Okay. So we've got glutes, we have triceps, and then biceps. And then this would be body weight, glutes, triceps, biceps. And then we have free weight, glutes, triceps, biceps. And now we move on to our gamma routines, circuits. And so again, here we have our lower body, upper body, always the same order. So we start with hips, spine, and the neck. I choose this is gamma 1 because these are the most important. And then you can do hips actually feature again in gamma 2. So they're interchangeable. So you can do hips, spine, neck. And let's say you did gamma 1. Okay, that's going to confuse you. So let me bring that up when we get to the routines, not circuits. Okay. So this is 3x gamma 1 and 3x gamma 2. So hips, spine, and neck. And then for gamma 2, we've got hips, scapula, and wrists. So this is what it would look like. You would do you would do adductors and abductors. You would do your thoracic flexion, but also extension. It doesn't show it here, but you would do 2 exercises. And then you would do your neck exercises. Then you would do your hips, your thoracic spine. So these are 2 different exercises. You squeeze, then you would do the adductor raise. Then you do your crunch in a very specific way. And then you do like your Supermans, where you're just trying to lift the upper back, keeping your lower body fixed. Okay? And then you do the upper body neck exercise. So it's a 4-way neck exercise. Gamma 2, again, hips, the same thing, but then you would do 2 scapular exercises, and then you can do 1 wrist routine. It just makes it more efficient. You could do many. But remember, the gamma routines or gamma circuits or gamma exercises are complexes. So sometimes they feature 2 or more exercises for the same muscle group. And so you're not even tracking your total workout time here. You're not focused on beating your previous total workout time scores or anything like that. It's very much more focused on getting into the muscle and spending time there as a corrective strategy rather than trying to beat your gamma routine score or circuit score. You're not going to do that. All right, so those are your circuits. And remember, you're not doing circuits. I'm just showing you how the routines are built based on 2 circuits. Every routine has 2 circuits.